Hello and welcome to the It's Law podcast. I'm Ritchie Edwards, back to host episode number 4. Today I'm here with Michael Rojas. Michael is a financial advisor, and he's joined us today to talk about financial planning in the retirement and other spaces. And this is a follow-on to episode 3, where Troy spoke with Andy about the alternative business structure, Reliant Group, and all of the very innovative and good things we have going here with the financial planning, the estate planning, and the legal side all sort of rolled in together. So if you haven't listened to episode 3 yet, I'd urge you to go back, start with episode 3. It'll sort of lay the groundwork for what we're doing here, and then come back to us here at episode 4. Make sure you do come back, because I think this is going to be a good one, and listen to our interview here with Michael. So Michael, thank you. Appreciate you being here. And I'll just ask, maybe start, tell us a little bit about yourself and your financial planning background.
Well, thanks, Richie. I appreciate being here as well. And my name is Michael Rojas. I've been in the financial estate planning world for about 25 years now. I've worked all over the country, really, to be honest with you. I'm licensed in 14 different states. So right now my focus is here with Arizona and FR Law Group. I am a fiduciary. My focus, though, is with people that are near or are currently in retirement. So I like to think of myself as a little bit different type of advisor because I come from more of a conservative approach.
Okay.
I want to ensure that when people are considering retirement or if they're in retirement, I want them to know that their assets are going to continue to be there for as long as they are in retirement.
Right. No, that's excellent. And I have to go back just quickly. You said 14 states you're licensed in?
Yes.
Is that a different test in every state, or that seems like a lot?
It's actually not a different test.
Okay.
If you are, your home state, meaning Arizona is my home state,
Okay.
then it's just the application process of getting licensed in the states in which you want to do business.
And keeping it up with
in education, yes.
You're in school more than I was in law school, it sounds like. Well, I want to start. You said, you focus on the retirement space. And I think a big fear that I perceive anyway that people talk about is running out of money in retirement. I'm going to retire. I have this nest egg. Is that what you hear from your clients? Is that their biggest fear? And if it is, can you explain why that worries people so much?
Well, yeah, that is the biggest fear in retirement is, do we have enough to retire comfortably? How much do I need to save? When 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the number one concern. So what you've got to think is it comes down to several factors. Number one, as we get more mature in our life cycle, we hopefully will have less debt, right? Yeah. So there's one way that there's only one way, in my opinion, that you can truly guarantee yourself from never running out of money. And that is, how much do you have as income to cover your needs and also to ensure that you're going to be able to do the things that you wanted to do in retirement, right? You don't want to sit at home in 4 walls watching TV. We want to go take those exotic trips.
Right.
We want to play golf every day. We want to see the grandchildren, whatever it may be. Then we've got to factor that in as well into our income. Right. And when I'm talking about income, Richie, I'm talking about guaranteed income.
Okay.
So if I've got enough guaranteed income, if my goal is to have $8,000 a month of guaranteed income, well, what are the sources from that? You've got Social Security.
Right.
We've got maybe a pension or 2 if your spouse has a pension as well. Right. And we may have what I like to call self-made pensions, because we can create our own pensions to ensure that we have enough guaranteed income to last our lifetimes. Because if you do have guaranteed income for your lifetime to meet your needs and to meet your goals for retirement, you wouldn't be happy if you lost 30 or 40% in the stock market, right?
That's right.
No one would. But if you have enough guaranteed income to meet those needs and goals, then that 30 or 40% loss, it doesn't affect the way you live.
You're okay.
It doesn't affect the way you live.
Right.
So the key is, number one, factor in what it is that you're going to need to meet your needs, and then factor in how much you need for enjoying yourself.
Right.
And once you've met those and can factor that in with guaranteed income, if there's any gaps, then that has to be addressed.
Sure.
And then you'll know that you'll live a comfortable retirement.
Right. So you're talking about needs in one bucket, and then these wants that you have, your vacations, your trips to see the grandkids, taking them to the ball game, whatever it is. How do you see, and how do you advise or teach somebody to know how much they have? Because in my head anyway, somebody's working and they've been working for 40 years. The moment they retire, no matter how well they've done or how well planned they are, that income level is probably going to drop in some way or some aspect. So how exactly does somebody know this is what I need to cover my needs and to also live comfortably?
Well, there used to be a rule that said that you should retire on 80% of your final pay. Okay. That's what you should have as income. Okay. Because I strongly believe that income is far more important than just saying I have $2 million in retirement.
Right.
Okay. Having an account that has a certain amount of dollars, whether it's 500,000 or $1 million or 2 million, that's not the all important factor. The all important factor is knowing, again, that you have enough income. So based on the 80% that you used to have, say 10 or 20 years ago, that was the rule. I'd like to see my clients have 100%, right? If you had $8,000 a month of income, then you should shoot for $8,000 a month of income in retirement. Even though you may have less expenses, well, you may need to pay for medical costs. You may have additional costs that may be unexpected in retirement that you're going to need to account for. So my goal is to get my clients to having at least what they retired with as their final goal for income. Okay.
And that's excellent. I think that probably makes it easy. This was your final income. This is how much you need. And then, you're going to be good. So I want to take sort of a step to the very early stages of retirement. I know a lot of times we're dealing with people who are closer, but I want to start with a 401k. And my question, and it's one I hear a lot from people sort of my age and generally my age, is how much should I contribute to my 401k?
Well, that's a great question. And what I'm going to say is that you should be contributing as a minimum 10%.
Okay. And that's 10% of my
monthly
income.
Of your gross pay.
Okay.
Of your gross pay.
Right.
It's 10% of your gross pay. If you can't meet that minimum, then I'm going to say that you need to at least contribute whatever your employer is going to match as a matching that they're going to give you as a benefit. So if they're going to say, Ritchie, we're going to match you 100% up to 4% of your contributions, then, but please, that should be your goal, is to get at least 4% there so that you're not leaving dollars on the table.
Right.
If you're only putting 2%, well, then you're leaving 2% that the employer would have matched, and you're leaving money on the table. That's free money.
Right.
That's money that your employer is giving to you as a benefit for being employed there.
Right.
So do that worst case scenario.
Right.
But the minimum should be 10%.
Okay. Got it. So that what they're matching is a good place to start, but we always need to work up towards the.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you need to be able to put in as much as you're comfortable putting in. So I say 10%. If you're comfortable putting in 15%, then put 15%, because keep in mind that this goes in pre-tax.
Right.
So it when you factor in that what you would have paid that in taxes for that percentage that you put in, it's not maybe going to come out exactly even, but it's not going to be as significant of a difference that you might believe.
Right. Okay. That makes perfect sense. So, say we're in the situation, we've maxed out what our employer's matching, we've maxed out the 10% or whatever it is. But what do we do next? Where's the next spot to put money for retirement from someone sort of early on or in the middle of their journey? Is that an IRA? Is that, what sort of vehicle would you recommend there?
I would suggest right now to, if you're able to do any additional contributions, then I would recommend an IRA, as you just mentioned, but I would look towards Roth. Okay. First and foremost. Now, Roth is different than a traditional IRA. Okay. A traditional IRA is pre-tax dollars, much like your 401k, right? It's pre-tax. So there's a lot of different vehicles out there that you can put, I should say, a lot of different what we call qualified accounts that you can put pre-tax dollars. That's 401k, that's 403b, SEPs, KIOs, traditional IRAs. That's all considered qualified funds. But into the same category, you've got Roth IRA. That's after tax dollars. It's still considered in the qualified umbrella, but it's after tax dollars. So it's significantly different than the other sources of being able to place your money. Why would that be? Why would I recommend that scenario? Because after tax dollars, you're putting that money into this Roth account, and as it continues to grow over the years, if you're 35 years young. Richie, I don't know how old you are, but
Right.
you look young. Then that money will continue to grow for the next 20 years, 30 years until it is that you decide to retire.
Right.
And you're not going to pay tax on all of that gain.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's excellent. Right. That's
So
a huge
you could
benefit.
have 30 years of compounding interest
Right.
and not have to worry about the tax. So you only paid tax on what you contributed.
Right. So overall, 30 years, my tax burden is way lower in a Roth
Way
IRA
lower.
than it could be.
And with, today's historically low rates, our tax brackets are going to go higher.
Right.
So, who knows what they're going to be in 30 years when you retire, but I would suspect that they're going to be probably higher than what they're at today.
Right.
So why not
Sure.
contribute to an account that'll go tax-free, not tax deferred, because traditional IRAs, 401ks, that's all tax deferred,
Right. Right.
tax-free, and you'll never have to worry about a cent of taxation
Right.
on that growth.
So am I understanding right? If I understand, you mentioned the 401k, a traditional IRA, we're tax deferred. So I get a tax benefit now, right? You mentioned if I do the 10 or 15%, it's really not hitting me that much because of the tax savings. My Roth IRA is taxed now, so it's tax-free growth. Is it advisable to have, sort of that good mix where you have some tax deferred, some tax-free? Is that something, it's sort of how I'm thinking about it, but I don't know.
Well, absolutely. And the reason why I say that is because, again, if your employer is going to match a percentage,
Sure.
then get that free money.
Got it.
Okay. So
Right.
at worst case scenario, get that free money at 4%.
Mhm.
I would like to see you continue to do 10% if possible. So that's going to be tax deferred, and that's okay. Because when you do a Roth IRA, you're only allowed to contribute so much into a Roth per year, right?
Okay.
If you're under age 50, then you're able to do 6,500. So that's not a significant amount of money, but again, it is after tax dollars, so it could affect your pocketbook.
Right.
So find that happy medium. If you're 50 or older, then you can contribute 7,500 into a Roth account. So you should have a mixture. And the more that you can have in tax-free, obviously the better it would be for your retirement in the
Sure.
end. But I always believe in, what I would call tax diversification.
Mhm.
People talk about having a tax diverse portfolio.
Yeah.
Well, you can also have tax diversification
Right.
as well. So, if, for example, not interest rates, tax rates
Right.
are really high,
Mhm.
and you've got money in Roth, and you've got money in traditional IRAs, and you've got a 401k, and you decide that you need $50,000 for your daughter's wedding.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Where would you pull from if tax rates are really high?
You pull from the Roth.
You'd pull from the
Right.
Roth.
Okay.
Exactly. So
Okay.
you're tax diversified. Your
Right.
tax rates are at historical lows like they are currently.
Right.
Then you would want to pull from your traditional IRA or your 401k so that
Got
you
it.
could pay the
Okay.
lower tax on that
Right.
now.
Right.
So it gives you that option
Yeah.
to be able to pull from your accounts based on where economic conditions are with tax rates.
Right. No, that's really excellent. That's a really great thing to know. So what if somebody comes in, you're talking to someone, they're starting to get towards retirement age. Is there a way, if they're not tax diversified, can they transfer? Can they, I hear rollover all the time. Is there a way to make them later in life tax diversified into a Roth IRA or some other vehicle like that?
Yeah, that's known as a Roth conversion. Okay. That's known as, if you're looking to take qualified funds, again, that would be 401k, traditional IRA,
Right.
403b. If you're looking to take qualified funds and do a Roth conversion,
Mhm.
I would recommend it. But there's a lot of factors. Again, I'm saying that as, that I would recommend that as long as you do your due diligence. Okay.
Okay.
I personally like to see people ladder that out, calling a Roth conversion, but laddering segments of money out
Okay.
rather than doing a full conversion all at once.
Okay.
Because if you do a full conversion all at once, then you're going to pay tax on the full amount that you would convert into Roth. So let's say you're 65 and getting ready to retire,
Mhm.
and you've got $500,000 in your 401k,
Right.
and you convert that whole account into Roth. Well, the IRS doesn't look at it that you're just converting that amount and we're going to tax you on that amount. Yes, they're going to do that. Yes, they will. But they're also going to tax you on the year's worth of earned income as well. So you make $100,000 at your employer.
Right.
So you didn't make $100,000 this year. You made $600,000 this year. So what's going to happen to your tax bracket? It's going to be at the highest rate. More than likely, it's going to be at the highest rate.
Right.
So not only is it going to be at the highest rate on your $500,000 of qualified funds, but also at the highest rate of your $100,000.
Right.
So you got hit in two places really hard all at once.
Yeah.
Now you're 65, so you just got hit and you lost, let's just say you lost $150,000 to $200,000 of taxes on your 500, and you wanted to retire next year. Well, you don't have $500,000 working for you anymore, right?
That's right. Yeah.
You only have $350,000, maybe $300,000 working for you for your retirement. Yes, it's tax-free. Well, it would be considered tax-free after the 5-year waiting period, because we've got to include that. You can't withdraw from the Roth until 5 years have gone by once you've converted.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So you see what I'm getting at?
I do,
It depends on where you're at in your stage for looking for retirement, factoring in, okay, wait a minute. Instead of doing the whole thing, I'm going to ladder it out. I look at my income tax return before I bump myself up into the next tax bracket.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look to see how much wiggle room I have to convert before going into the next tax bracket.
Got it.
If I've got $70,000 of money that I can earn
right
before getting into the next tax bracket, then maybe that's all that you
do that year. Okay.
And then the following year you do it again.
You're right.
And then the following year you do it again until you have enough Roth converted money that you feel comfortable with.
Right. Okay. That so, and I'll probably get to this again at the end, but I'm the kind of person who I like, get on the internet, talk to people and try to do it my own. It's really seeming like we're talking about financial planning, retirement planning. Someone's got to come see you. They've got to come see someone who's knows what they're doing, right? A fiduciary who has their best interests at heart. I mean, that's the way I'm seeing it right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, absolutely. There's a lot of people that love to do it themselves.
Sure.
Which is great, because the more that you pay attention to your own assets, to your own retirement, then probably the better off you're going to be, right? Because I've spoken to a lot of people, Ritchie, that have handed me statements and never even opened them. I don't want to look at it.
Oh no.
I don't want to. I don't want to know what's going on.
Too anxious.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So
oh no.
I would much rather the person that lets some financial firm out there help manage their money that doesn't open their statements. That's not a good thing. You need to be opening your statements. You need to take control of your retirement, right? It doesn't matter if you're 30 years old or if you're 60 years old and getting ready to retire. You have to know what you've got. Yeah. So the person that does it themselves, fantastic, because they know what they've got. Right. They're trying to do what is in their best interest, right? Well, right? You're not going to purposely try to lose 30% of your own money.
Sure hope not.
But at some point, Ritchie, yes, you should consult professional advice. You should get with someone who has your best interests. Get with a fiduciary, not just someone that could advise you where to place investments, someone to advise you, give you an income plan, give you a written retirement financial plan. Yeah. Because most people think that retirement and having a plan is, okay, I've got $1 million saved. Sure. That's not a plan. You've got $1 million saved, whether it's in a 401k or money market or CDs or whatever it is. Hey, $1 million saved, great, but that's not a plan. Right. What is your plan for retirement? Right.
No, that makes perfect sense, right? We have to do something with it. I think I tell people the same thing. You have to go see a legal professional if they, and people, I think, we think, oh, of course they're saying that. Go see a lawyer, go see a financial advisor, they're getting the benefit, but really, it really is for your best interest. So I want to switch gears just a little bit to the overall portfolio, and not necessarily with specifics, but I want to talk about aggression, right? And you mentioned somewhat earlier that there's a conservative approach you can take in your portfolio, and I'm sure there's more aggressive approaches. My question is, how do I toe that line with being aggressive so my money grows, but not being too aggressive that it's not there when I need it?
Great question. Today we are experiencing, we're experiencing kind of a lot of uncertainty in our economic conditions, right? Yep. You hear talk of possible recession. Yep. You hear talk of a soft landing. You hear people say there is not going to be a recession or a soft landing. So you could speak to 10 different advisors and probably get 5 or 6 different answers, right? Yeah. But how should you manage your risk tolerance? Because I believe that's what you're talking about. Yeah, how aggressive should I be? That's right. And what should my risk tolerance be? Yeah. Well, it depends on which stage you're at in your life. Ritchie, you're young. So you can take on more risk than someone who's, say, 65.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Because what do you have on your side, more than likely, than someone that is 65?
Time.
Time.
Right. Yeah.
You've got time.
Okay.
So being aggressive when you're young is not a bad thing at all.
Mhm.
Okay. Because remember, when the stock market is fluctuating or is hit a recession or is it had a correction and you are contributing, say, to your 401k, you're getting something that a lot of people may or may not be receiving, and that's what's called dollar cost averaging.
Okay.
Meaning you're buying shares when the market's down and you're buying low. So that $100 that you're contributing, it's not buying 5 shares anymore. It's buying 25 shares now.
Got it. Yeah.
So when the market does eventually come back, because you've got time on your side, right? And the average correction typically takes just under 6 years, according to history, to come back. Okay. So, but once it does come back, you're going to have a nice little explosion of your money because you bought a whole bunch of shares. Right. When the market was down. Yeah. So dollar cost averaging, but then when the market comes way back up, your $100 again is only buying 10 shares. Right. So it's called dollar cost averaging. Got it. Okay. And it's great for people that are young, people that are still working, and that you're not getting ready to retire and you're putting money in your 401k and you just keep putting it in there. Just put it in, put it in, put it in, put it in. But that's different than when someone is getting ready to retire. They're 5 or 10 years outside of retirement. I call that a retirement red zone. Okay. It means that you really have to start looking as to how you have yourself positioned. So how aggressive should someone be when they're that close to retirement? Well, most every advisor, I should say every advisor knows what's the rule of 100. Okay. Most consumers don't know the rule of 100. Okay. The rule of 100 simply just says you take your attained age. You're 65. You subtract it from the number 100. 35 is the balance. 35 as a percent should be the maximum amount of exposure to risk, to the potential loss of money. Interesting. Now, does that mean that every advisor implements that rule? No, it does not mean that every advisor. Right. Does every advisor try to utilize that rule? I don't know. Do I? Yes. I use it as a barometer because every client's a little different, right? Right. Sure. So some clients may want to take on additional risk than that. Some may want to take on less risk than that. Right. But I tell every client, this is what the rule says. Where do we stand? Like, Ritchie, you have $1 million. You're now 65. I made you now 65. Okay. Excellent. And if you were to take that $1 million, Ritchie, and you were to lose, you're getting ready to retire, and you say, I ask you, Ritchie, how much would you be comfortable losing? What percentage would you be comfortable with losing? And you say, well, Michael, if I lost, 15%, I think I'd be comfortable with that. And you say, and so, okay, Ritchie, you're comfortable losing $150,000 right before retirement? And that gives me heartburn there. Yeah. Wait. No, no, I would not be comfortable. Much lower than that for me. $150,000. I say, okay, so in reality, then how much would you be comfortable with? Well, I don't want to lose anything. I got it here. I don't want to lose it. What are you talking about? Yeah. You see what I'm getting at? Though? Definitely. It depends on where you're at in your stage of life. If you're young, you could absorb risk. You have time to bounce back, to recover from that. But if you're 65 and you're going to retire next year, or you're going to retire today at 65, maybe you don't want to lose anything. Maybe you don't want to take on risk. Maybe you want to take a percentage of risk that is a lot, less than what the rule of 100 says. Right. So there's a lot of things, again, that factor into that. That's something that you really have to sit down with. You and your spouse have to sit down together, maybe have a conversation, and then maybe get with a fiduciary to give you thoughts and a plan to how to get you through retirement comfortably. Right. Okay. So risk, like we're talking about, it, as I understand, it comes from the market. Your money's out there and it, fluctuates. So the hypothetical me at 65 with $1 million, hey, I want to really reduce my risk. And I come to you. How do you do that? How do we get me out of the market, so to say, and take my risk away? Okay, so we simply, if you don't want to be in the market, right, there's other investment vehicles, right? Okay. We have if some people use annuities as a big retirement tool. Okay.
Yeah.
Annuities can be used as a retirement tool.
Right.
And keep in mind that there are hundreds of that financial product out there. Every single annuity is issued through a life insurance company.
Okay.
Every one of them. You can buy an annuity at your bank. You can buy an annuity through your account.
Okay.
You can buy an annuity through your financial firm. As long as that individual or corporation has licensing or is licensed to be able to sell annuities, then you can get an annuity anywhere. I just mentioned that though, because, I talk to people that say, oh yeah, my annuities are with Bank of America. Well, it's not with Bank of America. You bought it at Bank of America, but Bank of America, may be partnered with Transamerica or Prudential or MetLife, whoever it is that they have partnered with to solicit these financial vehicles.
Got it.
So the thing that makes, I guess, me different, if somebody was looking to get an annuity, what makes me different than maybe, say, Bank of America is I'm not partnered with any one company. I am an independent advisor. So I have the use of a lot of different financial vehicles.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If someone is looking for, the market, if they want managed money, then I have my custodian that I use for managed money. And so, the custodian would be like Charles Schwab or TD Ameritrade or Fidelity. That's what I'm talking about. And I have my custodian that I use. So, I don't have your money in house. If I manage it, it's with a custodian. I'm just your money manager.
Got it. Okay. So an annuity, I've heard of annuities a lot. I think I have some concept of what they are, but can you explain to me what at its core, what is an annuity?
An annuity, well, again, there's hundreds of this financial product out there. And every one of them is going to break down into one of four categories. Okay. You've got an immediate annuity. You've got a fixed annuity. You've got variable annuity, and you've got indexed annuities or equity indexed annuities. And keep in mind that annuities have been around for a really long time. I mean, it isn't something that just came out from the insurance industry 15, 20 years ago. One of those categories that I just mentioned, the fixed annuity, that was around during the days of before the Depression.
Oh, wow.
The insurance industry loves to claim that is a time-tested product, meaning that it went through the Depression. Anyone who held a fixed annuity during the Depression didn't lose a dime.
Really? Wow.
Really? So that is one of their claims that, yes, we've been time-tested. And our financial products, can endure huge corrections in the market. Because a fixed annuity is it's not invested in the stock market. So yes, how can you get out of the market? Well, this is one way that you can get out of the market is getting into that type of financial product. So being that there's four different categories, they're all going to act a little differently. Not one annuity is exactly like the other. So someone like yourself says, yes, I've got a general idea of what annuities are, but a general idea is not going to give you that peace of mind that you'd be looking for in a financial product. So if you've got certain needs or you've got certain requirements or goals that you want out of your retirement and you believe an annuity may be something that's beneficial for you, because again, annuities are being more, they are one investment vehicle that's taken in more retirement dollars probably than ever in history.
Really? Okay. Wow.
So they are used highly for retirement vehicles. Like I said, if you want more information on an annuity, then please have someone reach out to me, give me a call. I'm happy to discuss the different categories because it is a learning process. You really have to understand what you've got. A variable annuity, a variable annuity is basically you're still in the stock. A variable annuity takes on risk. There's risk associated with variable annuities, right? You could see the account value, lose 50%. And just like it would in any other scenario, because what a variable annuity does, Ritchie, is it basically is the umbrella of what the insurance industry placed we call them mutual funds, but when they're underneath the umbrella of a variable annuity, they call them sub-accounts. Sub-accounts.
All right.
They're the same basic thing as that mutual fund. So they're going to fluctuate and they're going to absorb a lot of risk. Variable annuities also have fees associated with them, so that's where, you really want to consider, is a variable annuity the best vehicle for my retirement?
Right.
What are my fees? And do I want to absorb that much risk?
Right.
Whereas say, and again, I'm just giving you a
Yeah.
40,000 foot overview,
Sure.
say a indexed annuity, an equity
Yeah.
indexed annuity. It's a financial product that was created to participate with stock-like market returns. Okay.
Okay.
It's and I say like because you're not going to capture the full upside potential.
Of course.
Okay. You're not going to. They're going to hinder that annuity and its performance for the full upside potential of that vehicle. But the nice thing about equity index annuities is that if there is a 30% correction in the stock market,
sure,
then they're guaranteeing, not me, the insurance industry, the insurance company is guaranteeing that account will not lose anything in value due to a stock market correction.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So not capturing the full upside. So you're giving away off the top,
right? But
you're not going to lose 30, 40, or 50% because there's been a correction.
Yeah, that's hugely valuable.
So again, they're drastically different. And again, under the index category, hundreds of that vehicle out there.
Sure.
And they're not all created equal. Under the variable category, hundreds of that vehicle out there. They're not all created equal. You really have to know what you're looking at and what you're buying.
Okay. And it sounds like, and I don't want to make you rehash what you said, but it sounds like the annuity and depending which one you go into and the specific vehicle, but it can be a way for a person to guarantee some of their income, right? That you buy the annuity and like you said earlier, we're going to add it to your Social Security, or we're going to add it to your pension, and now you have your annuity benefit, right? Is that understanding sort of correct in someone that's getting closer to retirement?
Yes, absolutely. Annuities, you purchase an annuity usually for one of two reasons.
Okay.
One is that you want to ensure that you're going to have enough guaranteed income to last the rest of your life.
Got it.
And maybe not just on your life, but maybe your partner's life as well. So that's one reason. And then the other reason typically is for safety. Okay. So either you're looking for income or you're looking for safety. Okay. Those are usually the two reasons why you're purchasing it.
Got it.
So, yes, can you create a guaranteed income from them? Absolutely. Absolutely can. It could be what I like to call a self-made pension. Okay. So if you have income between Social Security and any pensions that you may be receiving, and keep in mind, pensions have pretty much gone away, right? Unless you're a government employee or you're an educator or something to that effect, right? Then you still have a pension. But if you don't, then an annuity can be a way for you to guarantee yourself income that'll last the rest of your life to fill any gap that you may need to ensure that you're going to have that comfortable retirement.
Got it. So what sort of funds can I use to purchase the annuity? Is it from my savings account? Can I use that IRA or 401k? Like, how do I buy it?
First of all, you have to go to someone that's licensed.
Sure.
Right. So that's the first way.
I can't go into buyinannuity.com and do it. Okay. Right. I've got to come to you.
Right. You've got to come to me or someone that's licensed. So, sure. I guess you could go direct. You could go right into the insurance company themselves. Right. So if you say you wanted all this, I guess you could type in, I want an Allianz. So I want whoever it is that you're looking for as an annuity and go directly to them. And they're just going to take it to an advisor is what's going to happen. Right. Yeah. But you can type it in and get it and someone will. Sure. But the bottom line is, you can use different types of funds. You can use money from your 401k. Okay. If you're getting ready to retire, or something that maybe I should mention is some people don't realize that if you've got a 401k or a 403b, you may be able to roll that over after age 59 and a half. Say that you're not ready to retire yet. Sure. Okay. Say you're not ready to retire. Right. And you still plan on working for 5 years, but you're 60 years young. Okay. A lot of people want to insure or protect their balance, right? Their nest egg. Yeah. So they're going to look into what's called an in-service transfer. Okay. It's transferring the balance of your, say, 401k into another vehicle. You would want to transfer that if you don't want to pay the tax consequence into a traditional IRA. Okay. So there is no tax consequence. And then if you're looking for guaranteed income, maybe you're looking for an annuity, or you're self-directing that to any type of investment vehicle that you want that's going to meet your needs and goals.
Got it. Okay.
So yes, you can use 401k money. You can use it while you're still employed, and you still have your 401k active, meaning you're still going to contribute, right?
Right.
You're still going to put in your 100 or 200, whatever you're putting per pay period into this 401k. Yep. You're still going to get your matching.
Yep.
But you're just taking the nest egg.
Got it.
And you're protecting
it somewhere else. Excellent. So I think I have a couple questions, and I've appreciated the discussion. It's really enlightening. A couple questions to finish off. The first is, when should somebody start their retirement or financial planning?
Well, I think that, again, if you are in a retirement red zone, 5 to 10 years outside of retirement,
okay,
right? You absolutely need to start your retirement planning. Okay. Financial planning, you could, in my opinion, you could start doing that at any age, right?
Yeah.
Because again, you want to ensure that you will have a comfortable retirement. The sooner you start your planning, the sooner you start saving, then you've got the power of time on your side.
Right.
Compounding interest.
Yeah.
When you compound interest over 20, 30, or 40 years, it leads to a pretty good retirement.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. But a lot of us, when we are younger, and let's just say this, a lot of us when we're younger maybe can't afford to
sure,
put a significant amount of money away. But that's okay if you could put something away.
Right.
If you could put something
take
away.
Advantage of whatever it is.
Maybe not get that extra pizza and soda at Peter Piper this week and just put that away.
That's right.
If you did that on a regular basis,
right,
for the next 20 or 30 years, then you could potentially have a nice nest egg.
That adds up there. Excellent. And my last question is, you mentioned earlier, there's some folks that will say, no, I've got $1 million in my money market or whatever it is, but they don't have a plan. So is it ever too late for somebody to come to you and say, I don't have a retirement plan, but I want one and need one?
No, it's you. If you don't have a retirement plan, you absolutely need to get with someone and look for, what is my plan? You may be 70 years young, you may be 75. And you may feel like, you don't have as many years of retirement left if you're 75. But if you don't have a plan, if you've got concerns, maybe your concerns are different than they were 10 years ago.
Of course.
Maybe your concerns now are long-term care.
Yeah.
What is my plan for long-term care?
Yeah.
What happens if myself or my wife needs, to go into a nursing home? How am I going to pay for that?
Yeah.
Where's that going to come from? Is it going to come from our income? Is it going to come from the nest egg? Is it going to come from how are we going to pay for that? Is the state of Arizona going to pay for it? Right. So we go through stages, Ritchie, and at different points in our lives, we may need different, we may have different concerns, and they may need to be addressed at that point in time, but it's never too late.
Excellent. Well, I've learned a lot today. I appreciate your time. I hope everybody who's watching later on learned something. And just to close off, will you let the people know where they can reach you at, how to contact you so that they can come in and get planning?
Great. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great being here.
Great. So frlawgroup.com. And then do you have a website? Does Reliant have a website? How can folks come contact you?
We do have a website, but you can also contact me through Reliant if you'd like to as well. So you can absolutely get a hold of me through Reliant. I'm sorry, through FR and Reliant either way. So both scenarios.
All right. Well, that's perfect. We appreciate everyone here today. And Mike, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Ritchie. Thank you.